Summary of The Chosen by Chaim Potok. In the beginning of The Chosen, the narrator, Reuven Malter, talks about his hometown, Williamsburg, which is full of Orthodox and Hasidic Jews who almost never mix or talk to each other. Once the scene is clear, the story starts with a softball game. Danny Saunders is a key player on the Hasidic team that Reuven's team is playing. During a rough game, Danny hits a softball right into Reuven's eye, breaking his glasses and sending him to Brooklyn Memorial Hospital. Reuven seems to be getting better after surgery, but there is a chance that he will lose sight in one eye. Danny goes to the hospital to say he's sorry, but Reuven won't talk to him. Mr. Malter finally gets Danny and Reuven to talk, and they feel a strong bond with each other. Danny and Reuven become great friends after Reuven's eye gets better. The rest of the book is about how Reuven and Danny deal with being teenagers, but they don't have the usual teenage boy worries. During World War II, they grow up in different, but both very religious, Jewish communities. They spend most of their time talking about school, religion, Jewish culture, and traditions, as shown by the fact that they study the Talmud almost constantly. Reb Saunders is the tzaddik, religious leader, of Danny's Hasidic community, and Danny is meant to take his place one day. This job has been in Danny's family for many generations, but he doesn't want to be a priest. He wants to become a therapist. On top of that, Reb Saunders wants his son to grow up in complete silence. This makes Danny feel very alone, and he really needs Reuven's company. Reuven and his father help Danny make the hard decision to go against tradition and maybe start a new life outside of the only society he knows. Reuven and Danny both go to Hirsch College, and Danny studies psychology even more as his major. Then, Reuven and Danny's friendship falls apart when Reb Saunders tells his son not to talk to Reuven because Danny's father is a Zionist. As a response to the terrible events of the Holocaust, Danny's father has been trying to help build a Jewish state in Israel. He thinks that it is up to American Jews to keep the Jewish faith alive after all this damage. Reb Saunders thinks this is immoral, and he doesn't like the idea of a secular Jewish state. Reb Saunders thought that Jews shouldn't be able to live in Israel until the Messiah came. He thinks that the terrible things that have happened are God's will and that Jews should keep waiting for the Messiah. Reuven and Danny can't be friends for 2 years because of their very different religious reactions to Jewish pain. Reb Saunders finally gives up when Israel becomes a fact and more Jews, including a Hirsch College graduate, die defending the state. Danny and Reuven start talking to each other again, but Reuven doesn't like Reb Saunders anymore. Reb Saunders keeps asking Reuven to meet with him, but Reuven keeps making excuses. Mr. Malter finally tells his son that Reb Saunders is obviously trying to say something to him and that he should never refuse to listen to someone. Reuven says that he will go to the Saunders house. Reb Saunders tells Reuven that he knows Danny wants to be a psychologist while Danny is still in the room. He goes on to say that he raised his son in silence because he knew from a young age that his son was smart but had no soul. He wanted to teach Danny about pain and suffering by being quiet. Reb Saunders says that he wants his son to have the soul of a tzaddik even if he doesn't become a tzaddik. Then, for the first time since his son was a small child, Reb Saunders talks to his son about something other than the Talmud. Danny says he will follow the 10 Commandments, and soon after, Reb Saunders tells Danny that he will not be joining his group as a tzaddik. They finally come to terms with the fact that Levi, Danny's younger brother, will be the next tzaddik. Danny goes to Columbia to study psychology and says goodbye to Danny and Mr. Malter, promising to see them soon.
About the author. Chaim Potok was born into a family of Polish Jews who were Orthodox. Potok's parents wouldn't let him read non-Jewish books at home, so he would go to the library. At age 16, he began writing stories. After going to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, he also became a conservative rabbi. During the Korean War, from 1955 to 1957, Potok used this last skill as a priest in the U.S. Army. He went back home and went to graduate school at the University of Pennsylvania. After that, he moved to Brooklyn and got a job teaching and editing Jewish publications. The Chosen, which came out in 1967, was his first book and the one that got the most praise from critics. Potok went on to write many more books and essays, all of which had Jewish themes and topics, but he was hesitant to call himself only a Jewish novelist. He thought that the clashes between tradition and modernity could be seen in many different parts of American life.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.